So, what if your faith wasn't just a one-way street? What if it was a real partnership? Well, today we're going to dive into something really special called the Schoenstatt Covenant of Love. It's a journey that all starts with a simple but incredibly powerful idea. Okay, take a look at this. This one phrase. It's the absolute key to everything we're talking about. It's all about a dynamic, two-way relationship, a real spiritual partnership. And we're going to unpack what that really means. This is an idea that's shaped a global movement for over 100 years. All right, so where does this all come from? Our story begins, well, not with some big, flashy heavenly vision or a dramatic apparition. Nope, it starts with a quiet but really audacious act of faith. And it all happened in this small, unassuming chapel in Germany, way back in 1914. This was a moment that would literally change everything. So, on this specific day, October 18th, a young priest, his name was Father Joseph Kentnich, he gathered a group of his seminarians. And get this, he didn't say, "Hey, I've got a message from heaven for you." Not at all. Instead, he invited these young men to make a bold, almost daring proposal to heaven, specifically to Mary, the Mother of God. And this right here, this is the absolute core of how Schoenstatt began. The entire movement kicked off just from a deep, shared conviction. Father Kentnich and his students basically said, "Hey, let's prove our love and our dedication, and in return, let's ask Mary to make this tiny chapel her special place of grace." It was totally a proactive step of faith. Okay, so you're probably wondering, what is this covenant of love? I mean, what does that really mean? It's not just a one-way street of us praying and asking for things. No, at its very heart, it's a two-way agreement, a mutual exchange of gifts and commitments. You can almost think of it like a deal of love. The crucial part to get is this idea of reciprocity. It's kind of like any healthy relationship, right? It's not all about taking. So we, the people, we offer our sincere efforts, our daily struggles, even our small sacrifices. And in return, we ask Mary to set up shop, so to speak, in the shrine, to make it a spiritual home, a place where she actively gives out graces. And this motto just perfectly illustrates that balance. On one hand, you have nothing without you. That's us recognizing that, hey, we can't do this alone. Everything is a gift of God's grace. We can't achieve holiness on our own steam. But then you have the other side, nothing without us. And this is huge. It affirms our dignity, our freedom. It says our cooperation, our effort, it actually matters. God wants to work with us. Okay, so if this is a partnership, you might be asking, what do we actually bring to the table? What's our contribution to this whole spiritual deal? So the movement uses this really unique term, the capital of graces. It's like, think of it as a spiritual savings account. Every single time we make a conscious effort to live our faith, being kind when it's hard, working diligently, we're making a deposit. This becomes the currency of love that we place at Mary's disposal for the mission of the shrine. And listen, this isn't about doing some huge, extraordinary, heroic things. Not at all. It's all about transforming the ordinary, everyday stuff. It's about doing your job or your studies with care. It's about being patient when you're just so frustrated. It's these small, everyday actions that become the real, concrete proof of our love and our commitment. Okay, so that's our side of the bargain, our capital of graces. But what does Mary promise in return from the shrine? Well, the tradition holds that she offers 3 very specific spiritual gifts or graces to anyone who enters into this covenant. All right, number 1. The first of these, and it's probably the most foundational, is the grace of spiritual shelter. So what is that? It's the experience of being profoundly welcomed and accepted, exactly as you are. It creates this deep sense of belonging and peace, like a spiritual refuge from all the storms and struggles of life. It's that feeling of finally coming home. And from that place of safety and feeling at home comes the second promise, the grace of inner transformation. Now, this goes way deeper than just feeling safe. In this grace, Mary acts as a gentle but really effective educator. The shrine becomes a kind of school of holiness, helping to form our character, overcome our faults, and really shape us more into the person God created us to be, which is an image of Christ. And that transformation, well, it leads directly to the third grace, the grace of apostolic sending. Think about it. A person who feels at home, who feels accepted, and who is being transformed for the better, You can't just keep that to yourself, right? So this grace is an impulse, a strength for a mission. It's about being sent out to make a real difference, to carry those graces out into your family, your workplace, and your community. Okay, so we've talked about history, we've talked about theology, but what does this all mean for someone today? Why does this concept from a tiny German chapel over 100 years ago still matter now? Well, when you boil it all down, the covenant of love isn't meant to be some separate extra devotion. It's really a dynamic way to live out the promises we all made at baptism. It gives you a concrete path to holiness, not by replacing your relationship with Christ, but by living it more fully, with Mary as this powerful guide and partner right by your side. This slide just sums up the whole process beautifully. It really is a living dialogue. We offer up our efforts that are nothing without us, and that proves our love. Mary accepts these offerings, and in return, she pours out the graces of shelter, transformation, and mission that's her nothing without you. This whole dynamic just elevates everyday life into something so much more, a meaningful partnership with God. So I'm going to leave you with this question to think about. If our relationship with God is really a two-way partnership, a covenant, what are you actively contributing? What small part of your day, your work, or even your struggles could you consciously offer up today?